Ready to go. Okay, so let's get going with our grits. So grits, we're gonna put them in a nice, big old heavy-duty, pretty solid bottom pan. Don't use those like thin pans. Things will burn on the bottom. We don't want that. Okay, so let's start with, we're gonna do some milk. We're gonna do 2 cups of milk. So we'll get our milk, let's see. I always grab the ones that all the markings have like kind of deteriorated off of them. Have no fear. Chef is here. That's what happens. I'm going to show you what happens. Chef, I'm a chef like this, and then I throw it around. That's my cape. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. I thought he called me an ape. I was about ready to crawl over this. Okay, so we started with the milk. I sidetracked very easily, don't I? So 2 cups of milk, 2 cups of water, or as we like to say in the old country, agua. We're going to put it on there. Just going to bring it to a boil. And okay, I'm going to get some salt here. Making some movement. My poor cameraman. Okay, we're going to add some salt to the water and milk mixture. So 1.5 teaspoons, which is 1/2 tablespoon. So that's how I measure it. And then we're going to get our cornmeal ready. We're not going to put it in yet. We're going to wait till the mixtures, the water, milk, salt is boiling, but we need 1 cup of cornmeal. And I'm using kind of a coarse grain cornmeal. I'm going to, yes, fill it up. I'm not going to worry too much about, well, go ahead. Let's even it out. There we go. Perfect. So that's 1 cup. So once it starts boiling, into the fray it will go. So we'll start cooking our other ingredients. So we're going to do our, what did I say? We're going to do like a chicken, and let's say I got some bacon and andouille sausage. So let's first do, remember what we worked on last week or 2 weeks ago or back in the future? We're going to make a little bit of Trinity. So everybody remembers what Trinity was? Let's hear it, everybody at once. Kind of like a chant. Onion, celery, pepper. Nobody, no. There's a lot of enthusiasm today. Okay, remember we're cutting? We're gonna slice through that. Look at that, we're gonna turn that. We're not gonna pick up the onion, we're just gonna slice it this way now, and we have no longer diced. We have dices now, no longer sliced, we're diced. So let's put a little bit of oil in our pan. The pan's already warming up. That's about 1 tablespoon of oil. You could put butter in there, or if you have clarified butter, go right ahead. Get that cooking. I love the sound of sizzle. Let's grab about 2 ribs. I learned that the other day. I didn't realize that celery, this is called a rib of celery. So, if you go to a vegetarian restaurant, you get barbecued ribs. Well, you get barbecued ribs of celery. That's what you get as a vegan. Serves you right. I'm kidding. Lori, don't encourage me. Okay, so here we go. Now we no longer have ribs. We have little, what do we call them? Sticks, celery sticks, but they're no longer going to be celery sticks as we go in with our sharp little knife and we, look at that, we turn them into dices. Remember, use your hand like that as a guide. That's some information I got from on the other side of the world. Somebody sent me a message and said, Chef, make sure you remind the kids and the grown-ups to use your fingers as a guide. Okay, so here we go. And last thing we're going to do is our bell pepper, and that is, I better check that milk mixture. I have a feeling it's going to boil over on me, and I'm going to look like a fool once again. I pity the fool. Okay, let's just do. Now I'm all freaked out. We're just going to do 1/2 of a green bell pepper. Looky there. Get our Trinity's almost all ready. It's cooking. Our milk is about ready for us to add the cornmeal to it, or the grits, as we like to call them. depending on where we are in the country. Okay, look at that. Our three phases of Trinity. A good color, right? Green is my favorite color. All right, so let's go. See that milk is starting to boil up? Hurry, Chef, hurry. It's coming to the top. It's alive. Uh-oh. Oh, go faster, go faster. Oh, phew. I had to add some drama to this. Okay, so I'll turn the temperature down. We got it boiling, and in goes that cornmeal. Slowly add it. If you add it all at once, it could clump up, so we don't want clumpy cornmeal grits, do we? All right, so I'm going to turn it low. We're just going to let it start cooking. Now, right now, it's really pretty liquidy, and you're going to think, oh, I need to add more cornmeal to that. Don't do it. Wait, that cornmeal, know what happens? It expands. Kind of like your belly when you eat something and it kind of grows. So just let the cornmeal cook. It's going to cook. It's going to get really soft, and that's going to be perfect. Don't panic. I know a lot of chefs will they'll say, oh, we need to add more cornmeal. You don't need to. Okay, we got my andouille sausage, so we're going to cut it into just little smaller pieces. See how I cut it? It's got it rolling like that, so you want to put the flat end down so it's not rolling around on your cutting board. Look at that. Look at those knife skills. My hands, perfect placement like that, and we just cut through. I have yet to cut myself on this show, yet. Okay, we'll throw in our andouille. We got our Trinity, we got our andouille. Look at Chef doing all kinds of things all at once. Maybe, let's throw a little bit of bacon in there just for that bacon flavor, or that Baconator flavor. Whoever came up with the name Baconator, my goodness, somebody had extra time in their office one day over at the Wendy's corporate offices. Okay, a little bacon in there. Now, I know people think it's weird, but I like to eat raw bacon. I love the flavor. It's just a good flavor. Watch that. And you don't die from it. Everybody freaks out. I've been doing that since I was a kid, too. Something about it just makes me happy. So that cornmeal cooking, grits are cooking. I'll clean up my area. I'm sauteing. Then I have some chicken. Had one of my students made something the other day, had a whole bunch of leftover chicken, and he'd already cooked it. So this is perfect. I'm just going to cut it to a little smaller size, and this will go right into our mixture of our Trinity, our sausage, our bacon, and we're going to add a little bit of tomato to this at the end. Give it a little bit of a nice flow to it. How's that looking? That grits are coming along. Now, I usually let the grits cook probably about 15-20 minutes. I went ahead and made some ahead of time, so I didn't want you guys to have to sit around and watch me cook grits for 20 minutes, because I'm sure it's already painful enough watching me cook grits for 10 minutes. Okay, so see that? So that's exactly the same thing as we did with the other one. So nice. Remember how I said don't add more cornmeal? Well, I was right, because look at that. If you added more cornmeal to it, now it'd be too thick. You'd have to add water, and all the proportions get thrown out of whack. We don't want that. We want it to be perfect. Okay, so we're going to add some cheese. Let's do to this. I should have put the cheese in a little nicer looking container. It looks kind of ghetto the way I do things here in class. Okay, so like I know ghetto, right? All right, grew up in Lawrence, Kansas. Come on. Okay, last thing I'm going to do with this, I'm going to add the cheese. Don't go crazy on the cheese. I know everybody loves to add more of everything. More cornmeal, more chocolate chips, more this and that. Make it. Let the grits speak for themselves. A little bit of that, cheese in there will be good enough. It says cheesy. It doesn't have to be overly cheesy, right? Come on, America. Let's cut back on our cheese intake. Sorry, dairy farmers. Okay, now we're going to add to this about, well, let's do a cup of tomato. There's some crushed tomato, some diced tomato. There we go. That's a cup in a nutshell. That was exactly a cup. Stir that in. It's going to have a good flavor, I promise you. And then we're going to add to that, you know, just a little Old Bay seasoning. I know we use this in the crab cakes, but I thought, oh, there we go. I thought this would be good in here. So I'm going to throw in of the Old Bay about 1.5 teaspoons, and then a little bit more, just for good luck, just in case I didn't put enough. All right, so we'll let it cook a little bit. Maybe I'll add some water. Oh, look, the newspaper guy's here, delivering newspapers. Get your paper here. All right, so we'll let that stew. We'll let it cook for a little bit. But in the meantime, because I know that you guys are all pressed for, everybody's got to get somewhere. Let's go ahead and set one up. Let's get one all ready to go, or maybe a couple of them. Oh, maybe really quick. My mind's always racing in these situations. Let's get a little bit of garnish ready, okay? I'm using that. If you go to the store, you'll see there's two kinds of, well, organic doesn't count, but there's two kinds of parsley. There's flat leaf, which is called Italian parsley, and there's kind of this, oh gosh, now I forget the name of it. It's curly parsley. There we go. So for chopping, I always use a curly parsley. Flat leaf parsley gets kind of weird. It doesn't chop as well. You end up with like a different looking parsley look to it. So we want to use the curly parsley, okay? And that's the one that looks kind of curly. The flat leaf looks a lot like, looky there. Looky there. Okay. Flat leaf looks like cilantro. All right, perfect. Now our grits, I didn't taste them, and I know I had spoons over here somewhere yesterday. One of those students, I'll have to go old school. Oh, there we go, Lori. Love that she listens to me. If only my students would start doing that. Let's give a taste to that. Those cheesy grits, see if we need to add any salt. Maybe a tiny bit of salt. Maybe we want pepper, we can put it in there. But since we have all those nice flavors in that chicken mess I've got going there, it's the only thing I could think of to call it, then we're going to have enough flavor. So look at there. Oh, that smells so good. You know what I'll finish it with? A little bit of butter. That's going to be perfect. So let's do this. Let's put a tiny bit of butter. It's a couple tablespoons into our grits. And you know what? Since we're at it, since we got the butter open, let's put some in there also, okay? I know that, see, if we'd put a whole bunch of butter in there, I mean a whole bunch of cheese, then we'd be over dairied. We're not going to over dairy ourselves today. There we go, that's looking good. That butter melts pretty quickly. Those grits are pretty hot. I guarantee you, if you, for some reason, decide to put your whole hand in those grits, you'd burn yourself really good. And I don't know what the reasoning would be behind you wanting to put your hand in the grits, because those are hot. Okay, here we go. First little bowl right there. We're going to do two different setups. There's one, and then the second one right here. Perfect. And we'll come back over here. We'll make sure that butter gets melted into our, oh, that looks so good, doesn't it? Yum. I'm glad I missed breakfast this morning. Go right on top with that. Get a nice look. And we'll do the same with this one. That's just the bowl versus plate look. That's all I was really trying to show you. And then we'll finish it with a little bit of this parsley. Remember, parsley all around the rim? No. No, no, no. Let's cover it on top. If you do it on the edges, it means you're stuck in the 80s. And we aren't. We're moving on. Okay, that's it. That was quick and easy. Those grits are simple and they're delicious. You can just do them as a side without anything on top of them too. That's how I really like them. I love porridge, I love oatmeal, and I love grits. So get in the kitchen, sharpen your knives, keep the texts, emails coming. I had a great text from somebody from Oregon. Said, Chef, a woman named Ginger, who said, Chef, why are you always wearing a chef's jacket? You should take that off. And I thought, well, maybe I will take it off later today. And then the last thing you need to do is get in the kitchen and cook, because it's so much fun. It's what we like to do.